Hey guys, it's Joe at PocketNow.com, and we've already shown you the unboxing and the hardware walkaround of the HTC Desire S. So today what I'd like to do is show you the software that comes with it, particularly HTC Sense UI 2.1. So let's go take a look. Alright, before we get started, another big thank you goes out to our friends over at Negri Electronics who have graciously offered up the use of this device so we could run a thorough set of reviews on it. Now, this is an HTC Sense UI device, just like any other HTC Sense UI device, except that it is running Sense UI version 2.1. As evidenced by this right here, it's also running Gingerbread, the latest version in fact, 2.3.3, which is really, really cool. Now, let's get back into this. Just like any other Sense UI device, it's got Sense widgets. It's got the nice HTC dock bar down at the bottom with your app drawer, with your phone, and with your personalize button, which is now a little painter's palette and paintbrush. It still has animated widgets, and it still has proprietary widgets. Now, by proprietary, I mean you can only run these widgets like FriendStream, like this cool weather widget and whatnot on an HTC Sense powered device with HTC Sense set as the launcher on the device. Now you can go ahead if you like, for example, Launcher Pro or ADW Launcher or whatnot, you can go ahead and install that and use it and it'll work just fine, but you're not going to have all of these cool transitions and animations and whatnot like you see here. So what's different about this phone than any other? It's really just an incremental upgrade. HTC doesn't like to go out and make a lot of radical changes to their OS or to the apps that come with it, so it's pretty much everything that you have become used to, just polished a little bit more, more smooth. For example, here's the app drawer, and it's divided up into these three sections now: downloaded, frequently used, which I really, really like. That I think should become standard on every Android-powered device. If I have 1,000 apps in here, but I only use 10 of them, I don't want to have to sort through 1,000 to find one of those 10 that I use. So that's where my frequent apps come into play. But if you want to see all of them, here you go. Now, one of the things that I like about the Samsung TouchWiz UI is that it's paginated. Now, what I mean by that is you launch the launcher, and usually on Android, it's this huge list that you just flip through, and it goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And unless you're watching, you don't know where, if I look through this whole thing and I know what I want isn't on that screen, then I go to the next screen, and, well, is it on that one? Well, there aren't really screens. It's just a row, a row, a row, a row. And it gets kind of confusing. Well, TouchWiz has a horizontal pagination. So you view one page of icons, really, and you flip to the next one, and you view another page of icons, and you flip to the next one, and so on and so forth. It's a little bit hard to get used to for somebody who's used an Android-powered device in the past, because usually you've got this vertical scrolling going on. Not really pagination, but scrolling. So when you pick up a Samsung device and try and use it, it's kind of jarring to not be able to use it just right away. You've got to rethink how to use it. Not difficult to do, but just one of those little hiccups. Well, this is HTC's take on that. So here is your app list, and if you scroll down, you'll notice I've got this little bar right here. You see that little horizontal rule? If I let go, it will snap to that, and now I'm looking at another full page. If I scroll some more, it will snap up, and I'm looking at another full page, and on and on. I even have a little indicator down here on the side that roughly tells me where I am in my pages. So very nice. I like that quite a bit. Again, frequently used is very, very nice. I'd love to have this on stock versions of Android as well, but very well done, HTC. So other than that, there's not an awful lot that I can show you as far as what software comes with it, because it is all HTC Sense stuff. It's great. It's wonderful. It comes preloaded with Adobe Reader. It comes with their own version of the Chrome web browser with some new benefits and features. Let me go ahead and fire that up really quick. So it just looks really nice. You don't have any more of these plus minus zoom in, zoom out, because they're focusing on the pinch to zoom and whatnot. Since you do have Flash pre-installed, you can very easily tap to load up the flash stuff, and it looks like I'm not going to be able to do that on this one to show you really easily. But you've got flash right there inside your browser. The camera is probably where they put the most work into. Now, I know it's a camera. What does it do? It takes pictures, right? Well, let's take a look at this. Go ahead and pull over my T-Mobile G2. It'll be my spokesmodel for the day with its fingerprinty stuff. And let's say I want to take a picture of that. Well, normally, if I can get glare out of the way, normally there's something called shutter lag. If I touch this to take the picture, I have to wait a second before it takes the picture. This is immediate. So again, I want to take a picture, great, snap, done. Same thing with video. There's none of that lag that you'd experience before with with other ROMs and whatnot, where you have to touch, wait, snap, and by then, especially if it's fast motion, the picture's lost. Your subject has moved on to other things. So very, very impressed with the progress that they've made there. It's just fabulous, and it defaults to high definition video recording right out of the box. So really great. Messaging and mail are still the HTC Sense versions of the app, so a little bit more polished than what comes with Android. Come back over here and do mail. Again, the same thing. In this case, it's asking me to set up either a POP3 or IMAP or Exchange. Notice we're still missing Gmail from this. They don't really have a Gmail feature. For that, you'd use POP3 or IMAP. Most of the time, Gmail is an IMAP client. So you just connect to it that way, or use the Gmail app, which is what I've ended up doing, because Gmail isn't real email, but that's a whole topic for another day. Just to kind of close that thread, though, it's a threaded conversation rather than traditional email, which is one in, one out, one in, one out. So lots of different stuff. Of course, you've got the other widgets. In fact, let's go ahead and show you some widgets over here. I'll get to a blank screen, and I can't, so we'll just tap and remove, and we will tap and choose widgets. Now, one thing that HTC is doing is they're removing an awful lot of the apps and widgets that come preloaded with their device. And they're doing that so that you can go out with your HTC.com account or HTCSense.com account and download more stuff, whether that's widgets, whether that's apps, whether that's whatever. Now, I can't do that because I don't have my SIM in the device right now, but it's very easy. It gives you a list that you can select from and download very, very fast. You can see down here it's categorized. This is an Android widget, this is an HTC widget, HTC, yada yada yada. So basically the same widgets that we're used to. I'm not familiar with the FM radio widget, but I am familiar with the FM radio app, so we'll go ahead and add that. And if I have my headphones, which you do have to have headphones, because that serves as an antenna. So here's my my Android headphones, and that's all they are, it's just my headset. But now I've got that antenna in there. I can now come in here, we'll choose which widget style we want. I like that first one, so, or I already had it on there. Anyway, so what it'll do now is it'll scan for the next radio station that it finds. And it's passing a bunch of them by for some reason. But anyway, if we wanted to stop and listen to the radio, we could. And then, of course, if we want to turn it off, we just hit the off button. So just very easy like that. There we go. It's turning on now. And we can drag this all the way out here. So there's my station. You can see I've got full stereo on it. I've got this little FM radio icon up at the top, and I'm even getting some information about the song that's playing there on the radio. So kind of cool. Lots of cool stuff that you can do. We'll go ahead and turn that back off, and then we're back looking at the widget. So really kind of neat, cool stuff. Alright, so here are a few programs that don't come with the device, but will help show you what the device can do from a software standpoint. So first of all, I want to run speed test. Now, this is an Edge-only device on my carrier, and especially since I don't have a SIM in it, so I'm just going to run through an 802.11n speed test. And we're going to wait for that to pop up. While I'm doing that, this is running, it's got full HSPA on it, so it should be a very fast device if you've got the right bands to cover it. But it's also powered by a 1 gigahertz processor with 768 megabytes of RAM, so quite a bit. Now, with my internet, this is a very good speed. I usually get about 15 megabit per second down and about 3 megabit per second up, so you can see I'm doing really good there. Let me go ahead and toggle this over to megabits just so it's easier to see. We'll run a second test. Ping rate is really low, which is good. There's not a lot of overhead with the Wi-Fi or the radio built into the device, but again, about 15 megabit down and over 4 megabit up, so very, very good there. Obviously, I'm not going to get that if I walk outside and do this test over Edge, but you know, that depends really on where you are, where Wi-Fi is a little bit more standard, especially home Wi-Fi. So next, let's go ahead and run Linpack Pro, and again, we're doing this just so you could see how fast this device is going to run stuff. So over here you can see we've got 41.502 megaflops, took about 2 seconds to run, all kinds of cool stuff. So for those people who follow Linpack and know what these numbers mean and are really interested in them, this makes a lot of sense. For everybody else, just normal casual users like you and I, there's not an awful lot to see. Just there's your numbers. Okay, so we got a few of them run. Next, let's go in and run Quadrant. Quadrant takes a little while to run, so we're going to go ahead and run a full benchmark on this, and we'll see what the ending result is in just a moment. So here are the results of my test. Right now it's testing at about 1210 for some reason, which seems a little bit low. But again, these are just benchmarks to get some numbers from. The Nexus 1 running Android 2.2 is up to a little bit higher than that. But it's still testing really nice and really fast, right in the same range as the other 1 gigahertz power devices, and quite a bit higher than the standard HTC Desire and the standard Nexus 1. Let's go ahead and run another app now. Run SmartBench and get those numbers. And the reason we provide these benchmarking numbers isn't to say, hey, this device is faster than this other device, but it's so you can know relatively how fast your device is going to run certain applications. Calculating pi, for example, is a good way to test its math and whatnot. But let's let the test run through and we'll see what the scores are on SmartBench 2011. Alright, so when interpreting SmartBench 2011 results, you have two numbers to look at. In the green is the productivity index, and in the red is the games index. Productivity is what you're looking at if you're just a regular business user who doesn't play a lot of games, and of course if you do play a lot of games, you want to look at the games index. So over here we're at about 1003 for our productivity and 1288 for our games index. Now compared to these next devices, these are super high-end devices. It looks like, you know, the Desire S isn't all that great, but it is. This device is not meant to be a super high-end gaming rig. This device is really meant to be like the Nexus 1 replacement. And I mean, look at this. It's small, it's sleek, it does everything that it needs to, it's fast, and it does it all in a package that we can all get behind, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful device. So the HTC Desire S running Android Gingerbread and HTC Sense UI 2.1 definitely gets my vote of approval. If it had bands that got me really fast 3G, this would probably be my daily driver, and I'd probably go out and grab this phone right away. If you want to grab this phone right away, you can do so over at Negri Electronics. Head over to Pocket Now, and we will give you a link and current pricing on it. Know that might change as time progresses, but we'll go ahead and give you all the information that you need to go ahead and pick one of these up for yourself. So if you're in Europe or Asia especially, this device is going to be fabulous, and if you don't need super high speeds or have the 3G bands that this phone supports, you'll love it. It's absolutely wonderful. So again, thank you to Negri Electronics for showing this device to us and letting us play with it for a week or so. We appreciate it a lot. For Pocket Now, I'm Joe Levi.